Welcome back to Glowing Card Gaming. I am your host, Adam, and we are back with the results of the picks from week 12, and we'll see how I did. I think most of you probably, if you've been following along, you know already how I did. So let's just get right into it. So I was picking, and I hate big the big point totals. Like, the Lions, I think, were favored by 8.5 or 9 or something like that. So they were minus 8 or 9, but I thought they were good because I thought the Packers were not that good. So I took the Lions. Of course, the Lions actually lose that, so that's a loss. The Commanders were plus 12.5 over the Cowboys, and those big point lines are juicy. I like adding, to that, but it wasn't enough. So I missed both the Lions and Washington Commanders on Thanksgiving. The Niners did come through for me, so I got a win with the Niners. So then, as we continue down, as bad as Jets are, the Dolphins were favored, and I can't even remember by how much, but nobody had like a 10-point. Dolphins there, so I got the win with the Dolphins on Black Friday, the first, maybe the last Black Friday game. Who knows? So then, as I'm going down my picks, I chose the Steelers, and they won by 6, so I get the win for that. The Titans, who won by 7, so I get the win for that. The Colts, who won by 7, I get the win for that. The Giants, who I think were plus over the Patriots, I get the win for that. I probably need to go back and re-listen to make sure that the accuracy of these points, but I believe I get the win for that as well. So up to this point, I am down 2, so I lost 2, but won 6. Hang on to your hats. So then we have the Saints game, and I took the Saints, but they didn't cover over the Falcons, so I lost the Saints. Texans as well. I chose them, and I think it was really close, like a point or two. They didn't cover, so I still ended up losing that one. I think it was 2.5, something like that. They lost by 3, so didn't get the L. Didn't get the W there. I got the L. Rams, pretty convincingly. That was the toss-up game. There was no points given in that game, so I just get the win for that. The Broncos by 1.5 after the adjustment. They come away 17-point winners there, so I get the W for that. The Raiders, you guys couldn't get one more touchdown. Chiefs were favored by 8.5, 7.5. Something like that. They won by 14, so I get the L for the Raiders. The Eagles, I had picked the Eagles to win, but the line was 3.5, and they won only by 3. So that's actually an L. So I lost that one. Really close. So there were 2 right there that I just missed. Baltimore, I picked them. I got the win for them, and then the Vikings. That was an L. So if you're following along, that's 9 wins and 7 losses. Not too bad overall. Um, so let me know how you did down in the comments if you beat me, if you didn't beat me. Again, this is the first week I've done that, so hopefully this upcoming week I will have a little bit more information and be able to more closely or accurately call the games. So I'll put that video out here pretty soon as well. Um, so let me know if you're liking this content. Also give me a comment if you like this or you want to see something else. I was actually thinking maybe about watching some old TV shows like Knight Rider or The A-Team, or um, even like All in the Family, or um, something of that nature, and broadcasting, watching that, because I know a lot about the history for a lot, maybe not quite so much for All in the Family, because that was kind of before my time. But like One Day at a Time, some of these older shows. One show that actually really made me think about watching some of the old content was Kung Fu, the original from the 70s. 3 seasons of that. And I was listening to Rainn Wilson and Theo Vaughn talk about it. I think that one, it's Theo Vaughn's last week or something like that, his podcast. Um, and I thought that was an interesting conversation. If you haven't seen his podcast, first of all, go watch that, because I think he has some interesting just conversations. Kind of reminds me of Carson without anybody um, being on tour for whatever thing that they're promoting at the time. It's just a conversation between Theo Vaughn and whoever his guest is, and I find those conversations to be intriguing and well done. So be sure to check that stuff out. The interesting thing about Kung Fu, growing up, my parents had bought me a little black and white 13-inch television, and I had uh, the first time I woke up for Saturday morning cartoons, I clicked that on and I turned it to a normal volume. So then, I my dad or mom, maybe both of them, came in and was like, "Why are you up this early? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm waiting for Saturday morning cartoons," and it was like 2 in the morning or something ridiculous, 2 or 3 in the morning. Um, so of course I turn it off, go back to sleep, but then I sleep way in the morning and I miss like half the cartoons. So I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do that again." So I learned that when I click that on, first of all, keep it on a very low volume so that only I can hear it. But the other part is either I would turn it on and cartoons would already be on. So then I would get up and I would go out um, to our rec room and turn on the big color TV out there. Or Kung Fu was on and I would just watch that. I would leave it on and I would watch it. I found it very interesting, even at such a young age. I really enjoyed that television show. But I knew when it was over, cartoons would be on next, and usually Disney's Gummy Bears were the next television show. The other interesting thing about that is when I would get up in the morning to go turn on the big color TV. If it was summer, there'd be sunlight, no big deal. Just walk through, go out to the rec room, and click on the big TV, start watching. But if it was winter, it was so dark. Um, Man, I had to go from light switch to light switch, and I have a story about kind of a funny story about um, what happened to me one morning. So I think probably I'll have this story just all on its own. A short video content about my Saturday mornings. But yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting conversation. So just a little short recap. I went 9-7 on my picks. Let me know in the comments if you did better or worse than that. Remember, we're going against the point spread, so be sure to take that into account when you're making your picks. And I'm going to do 3 videos this week. This is the first one, the recap for week 12. Gonna do the picks again for week 13. We'll see how that goes. And I did have the correct app. It was Bet ESPN, but the logo on their website looks like a big fat round B. It's strange, but if you get the app, it actually looks like the one on the McAfee, the teal B with the ESPN E inside of it. So for whatever that's worth. So we're gonna do week 13 picks, and I'll probably get that out here shortly. And also, I'm gonna do a Broncos recap for Broncos Browns this last week, and then also with that video, I'll do the Broncos and the Texans. They're playing the Texans, right? I'm pretty sure. Upcoming Broncos Texans. So that'll be the next video. That will be later in the week. So be sure to subscribe and hit notifications so you can tell when I post those. Although the videos I won't broadcast to subscribers. The shorts are the ones I think I will let my subscribers know about, so you guys can enjoy those. Let me know if you guys are liking the stat of the day of the week. I enjoy those. I think those are hilarious and actually interesting. I try and find something interesting. I just did one on Peyton Manning because the Broncos are in fuego right now. They're so on fire. I have to do some stats on them right now. So let me know if you're enjoying those, if you're enjoying these picks, or you'd rather see that other content where I'm watching older classic shows and giving you my insight to those, as well as maybe some history as to what was going on, even politically or in the news, because there's just sometimes there's a joke or a reference. People are like, I don't get it. Well, I get it because I lived through it. I know what the context of that is. So I'm able to show that. So I think I could add some content and some give some interesting views on that. So let me know what you guys think, what you want of the contest. Be sure to comment if you're liking these things, your record, your picks, whether you beat me or not, all of that stuff. I'll get out of here. Thanks for tuning in, watching. I appreciate everybody here. And as always, be good to each other. We'll see you next time shortly.